All right, I'm just tacking the last 2 days together because I fell behind. Yesterday I had my last final, and I was more focused on that than I was on lifting. So when I came in, I actually lifted before the final, because I felt prepared for the test, so I wasn't too worried about it. And then decided I would lift beforehand, but I would just kind of conserve myself, only do the squat and the pull up. So it was a little bit of an interesting balance, trying to get my session in and trying to make sure I did well in my final. I think the final went well. The session went pretty good too. I was able to get to 345 for 6, so that meant that today I moved up to 355, and we'll actually see later in that video how that went. The weight is starting to feel pretty heavy. I do have to admit, like, it's just I have to put a more conscious effort into it rather than just go up and go down and all that kind of stuff. It just feels like I have to push harder, which makes sense because it's heavier weight. But yeah, it takes a little more out of me, so we'll see how that holds up. My body still feels good, everything feels intact. I'm recovering well, so I'm not overly worried about anything. And then of course I got my deep squats in here. Make sure I get enough knee flexion. Make sure things are good in terms of taking care of my knees. And yeah, I mean things were pretty good. 165 for 3. So when I first started this exercise, it was like I was literally doing it with just a bar, and I had some knee discomfort, and now I have no knee discomfort, and I'm doing obviously much more than the bar. Still not a huge amount of weight. I mean, I'm sure I could put up like a decent number on this, maybe like 3 plates or so, but that's not the point. The point is for this to just take care of my knees. So I've been progressing my pull-ups the same way that I've been progressing my squats. I finally shifted into that kind of gear. Meaning like I'm trying to just like add a rep a day and then just move up once I reach 6 reps. So I believe this is yesterday's session, so I did a set of 5. Yeah, I don't mind hanging in the bottom. Like if you kind of go down and then you immediately go up, you get a little advantage of the stretch reflex. So if you hang there for a little bit, it actually makes it a little harder. But I don't notice like a substantial difference, especially at the heavier weights. I mean, certainly I could rep out more if I just like went down and went back up. But I'm trying to get like a good, strong single rep pull up, so it's not particularly relevant for me to skip that portion. So this is today's session, and on the bar here I have 355. Garage was a little bit crowded today. My dad was working on a project, so had to film from the back angle. But yeah, 355, 2 triples, so moved up in weight, shifted to triples. Overall good reps, good everything. It was heavier, but it's just gonna take some adjustments every time I bump up the weight. It feels heavy, and then like it just in the next few days it just like feels good again. So it's not something I'm particularly worried about. I knew in my 2 triples that I could have gotten more reps, which is basically what I'm looking for. So now I had a feet up, closer grip bench press. I noticed in this set that bar was tilted a little bit. I think it's due to me not consciously pushing with my right arm as much as I consciously push with my left arm, in part at least due to that. I don't know why that is the case. I think like just in general my right arm doesn't activate as much as my left. I noticed that in pull-ups as well, so I try to be a little more conscious of that. I also noticed at the lockout that it's tilted already, so that tells me that it's not just a pushing difference, but also like a back tightness issue. Like I might be retracting harder on my right side, so the bar is slanted at the top. Not something I'm too worried about, because when I have the leg drive and the normal bench, it tends to look a little better. I did improve between the 2 clips that I showed here, and also that line on the car kind of makes things look a lot worse than it actually is. It's not too bad. But yeah, overall session good. That's basically it.